اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وقال الله سبحانه وتعالى وما الحياة الدنيا إلا متاع الغرور صدق الله العظيم قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من كان آخر كلامه لا إله إلا الله دخل الجنة رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح. Dear respected brothers and listeners, As-Salamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All praises to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Master of the Day of Judgment, the all-knowing, the all-hearing, the most forgiving, the most merciful. And we send peace and blessings upon the beloved of Allah, the best of mankind, the best of creation, the Rasul of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy for me to deliver and act upon my message, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy for you to understand and act upon my message. My brothers and listeners in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, إِنَّمَا تُوَفَّوْنَ أُجُورَكُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, that on the day of Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give every single person their reward in full. Those who obey the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, try the utmost best to obey the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, try the utmost best to follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And if when they sinned, they made tawbah, sincere tawbah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my brothers, will give their reward in full. Those who are successful in this dunya. And what is success, my brothers? What is success in this dunya? Is success in this dunya acquiring the homes, the pounds, the monies, the bungalows, the cars of this dunya? No, my brothers in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَمَنْ زُحْزِهَ عَنِ النَّارِ وَأُدْخِلَ الْجَنَّةَ فَقَدْ فَازَ. Indeed, the one who can save himself from the punishment of the hellfire, the one who can save himself from Jahannam, which is beyond the comprehension of man, indeed, فَقَدْ فَازَ. He is the one who is successful. وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. And don't be deceived by the luxuries of this dunya, my brothers in Islam, because everything that you and I own in this dunya, everything that you and I possess in this dunya will come to an end one day. كُلُّ مَنْ عَلَيْهَا فَانٍ وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. Every single thing that you and I own in this dunya will come to an end, except for the Lord of the Arsh, the Lord of the universe, the one who created me and you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will remain. Every single thing that you and I own in this dunya will come to an end one day. At this moment in time, my brothers in Islam, we are running away from death. We may acknowledge the fact that death will come upon us. Why? Because we have seen our loved ones, our family members, our relatives pass away and lowered into the grave. We have seen them. But our a'mal, our actions are proof that we don't understand the true reality of death. When it comes to salah, my brothers in Islam, we become deaf and blind to the teachings of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When it comes to the month of Ramadan, we become deaf and blind to the teachings of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When it comes to zakah, hajj, we become deaf and blind to the teachings of Allah and Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ إِنَّ الْمَوْتَ الَّذِي تَفِرُّونَ مِنْهُ فَإِنَّهُ مُلَاقِيكُمْ. Tell them, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, tell them the death that they run away from, indeed they shall meet death. You can be on the highest of mountains, the tallest of buildings, you can be in the deepest of oceans, my brothers in Islam, but every single person will meet death. The Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that the wisest of people are those who prepare for the hereafter. Today we have become the sons of the dunya, my brothers in Islam. We are too busy prioritizing the dunya over the akhirah. When you prioritize the hereafter, my brothers in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring the dunya to your feet. You'll taste the sweetness of this dunya and the akhirah. The Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, مَنْ كَانَ آخِرُ كَلَامِهِ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ دَخَلَ الْجَنَّةِ. For that person whose last words are La ilaha illallah, he will enter paradise. My brothers in Islam, a person who lives a life of disobedience, neglects the teachings of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and then on the deathbed, when you hear stories, my brothers in Islam, where people are asking for sharab, alcohol, they're looking after their worldly affairs, they are counting their monies. And it is feared that if you live a life of disobedience, Allah will dishonor you at the time of death. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us all. A person who lives a life of obedience, my brothers in Islam, when the angel of death comes, how do you think he will come? Do you think he will call and make an appointment with you? He's going to give you a call and say, it's time to go. No, my brothers in Islam. When the time comes, the time will come. A believer of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a true believer of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who tried his utmost best to obey the commands of Allah, made every effort to obey the commands of Allah, to follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And when he sinned, he made tawbah, sincere tawbah. How do you think the angel of death will greet and meet this person? Do you think he will come in the most scariest of forms with fire coming out of his mouth and nose? Never, my brothers, never. He will come, the angel of death will come down with 500 angels accompanying him, with white shining faces. The angel of death will come and place his hand on the believer's head. The surrounding angels will place their hands on the limb of the believer. And at this moment in time, my brothers in Islam, at this moment in time, the soul will be shown the delights of Jannah, the fruit, the hurul ayn, the rivers of honey, milk and wine, the delights of Jannah. And when the soul sees this, my brothers in Islam, it will start jumping in excitement. When it sees the fruits, the delights, the pleasures of Jannah, it will start jumping in excitement. And do you know how the soul will be greeted, my brothers in Islam? It will be greeted with the greeting of Jannah. As-Salamu alaykum. As-Salamu alaykum, O beautiful soul. Ya ayyatuhan nafsul mutma'inna irji'i ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiyya fadkhuli fi ibadi wadkhuli jannati. O beautiful soul, O pure soul, come out to the mercy of your Lord. At this moment in time, the soul will be extracted from the body will thank the soul, and the soul will thank the body. The Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, and he gave an example on how the soul will be extracted from the believer's body. And he said that if a piece of hair were to drop into a pot of flour, how easy would it be for you to remove that hair from that pot of flour? With ease and without any difficulty. With ease and without any difficulty, my brothers in Islam. This is how the soul of the believer will be extracted from the body, with ease and without any difficulty. And then Jibreel alayhi salatu was the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, do you know who will take charge of this soul? When the soul is extracted from the body, do you know who will take charge of this soul? The Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that Jibreel alayhi salatu wa salam, he will descend from the heavens with 70,000 angels accompanying him. And they will form two rows of light from the heavens to the grave of this person. And when Iblis sees this, my brothers in Islam, when Iblis sees this, he will begin to cry. He will scold his followers, you fools, how did you let this person go away? How did you let this person go away? Iblis will start crying, my brothers in Islam. At this moment in time, the earth will begin to cry. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say to the earth, O earth, why do you cry? And the earth will say, O Allah, your servant, this soul, whenever he was on earth, he would prostrate. He would remember you in abundance. He would glorify you. He would praise you. Today this soul leaves the earth and I begin to cry. Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam, my brothers, he will ascend the heavens with his 70,000 angels. And as the soul ascends the heavens, the angels surrounding this soul, they will start talking amongst each other and they will say, who is this soul? Who is this beautiful soul? And they will call the soul with the most beautiful names. The most beautiful names, my brothers in Islam, until the soul reaches the first heaven. When the soul reaches the first heaven, my brothers in Islam, the best angel of the first heaven will take this soul to the second heaven, then to the third heaven, till the fourth, until it reaches the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when the soul sees the arsh, the greatness of the arsh of Allah, it will go down into prostration. It will fall into prostrate, into sujood, my brothers in Islam. Let me tell you about the greatness of the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my brothers in Islam. There are billions and billions of people on this earth. If you were to place this earth into the sun, you would be able to fit 1.3 million earths into that one sun. The sun is just one star, and there are many stars. This is just one planet. This is just one galaxy. There are many galaxies. The distance of one heaven is 500 years. There are 7 heavens. Then comes the kursi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thereafter there is water. Then comes the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he gave an example to tell us about the greatness of the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he said that if you were to get a ring and you were to place this ring into a desert, let's say the Sahara Desert, my brothers in Islam, you were to place this ring into the desert, the ring would be the 7 heavens, and the rest of the entire desert would be the kursi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then if you were to take the same ring and place it into the desert, the ring would be the kursi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the rest of the entire desert would be the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the greatness of the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my brothers in Islam. Thereafter, my brothers in Islam, the soul will be sent back to the grave. The grave, all 4 corners of the grave will honor, embrace the soul like a mother embraces a child, my brothers in Islam. And the grave is the first stage of the stages of the akhirah. The Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that the grave is the first stage of the stages of the akhirah. If this first stage is easy, then every other stage will be easy. If this first stage is difficult, then every other stage will be difficult. My brothers in Islam, I have to leave. And I end with this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you live a life of disobedience, my brothers in Islam, obeying the commands of Allah, making every effort to obey the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, following the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, then you will taste the sweetness of this dunya and the akhirah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all an honorable death and a death upon the kalima La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Jazakallah khair. Brothers are requested when there's a couple of